Let's bring into the conversation Hannah Weisfeld, who's director of Yakad. Now, that's an organisation seeking to mobilise British Jewish folk in support of a political resolution to the Gaza conflict. Joins me now. Can I put the same point to you? The one side, and as a journalist, I support getting the story out there, as it were. But in other ways, you could look at this being a little unhelpful. Where are you on that? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Thanks for having me on. Look, I think the issue is that this is very fast becoming a very divisive and very problematic even discussion to be having. So we're now in a situation where it's almost that the Jewish community is being pitted against people who want to go out and protest, and that there is no space for a moderate discussion. We have to be able to protect the right to protest. That is a basic democratic right. And fundamentally, people who go out on the streets in support of a ceasefire are not going out on the streets against Jews. I mean, I agree with Claudia that there are pockets of those demonstrations that are quite problematic and they need to be dealt with. But I think we have to be really careful about sensationalising it because we are creating a situation. The more we talk about no-go zones, the more we say that Jews can't go into London, it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But for the Jewish community and for the people who are seeking to achieve that aim.
But how do you respond to what James Cleverly, the Home Secretary, has said? And he'll put it far more eloquently than this. But he effectively says, look, enough already. We've heard the message. We get it. You don't need to keep doing this every weekend.
With the greatest of respect to the Home Secretary, there's a really simple answer to that, which is that while the war continues and people want to call for a ceasefire, they're going to go out on the streets and protest. And, you know, hearing the message, the government hasn't responded to that message, and that's why people go out.
So you do accept they've heard the message then?
Well, they've heard the message, but people who are marching to change the government's policy, and the government's policy hasn't fundamentally changed.
But if it's as a result of that, and by the way, I wholly agree with what you're saying, 99, possibly 99-point-something% of people who want to march hopefully have no desire to make London a no-go area for Jewish people. But if that is the result, isn't it responsible for either a local authority or central government to think, right, we've got to take a view here?
I think it's the responsibility of the demonstrators and the community to find a way to coexist in London. Look, the way this debate is going is that we are creating a scenario which says either you can march in support of freedom for the Palestinian people, or you can stand in support of the Jewish community, and that those two things are a dichotomy. That is fundamentally untrue. And I think the more we push that line, that it's either you support the Palestinian people or you support the Jewish community, the worse this scenario is going to get, which is why, actually, I think that we've got to build some muscle for difficult conversations. We have to be able to sit in a room, people who fundamentally disagree with each other, and find a way to coexist in this country. Because what we're actually doing is exporting the conflict to the streets of London, and we're making it really difficult for people to live here because we're scared. But it's becoming a scary place for people. So I'm in a rare position of kind of speaking to Jews and Palestinians quite regularly, and I know that both communities feel that they're being targeted and vilified.
I must leave it there, Hannah Weisfeld. Thank you. You're director of Yakad.